big time as a drug dealer, but I did have a crew called The Best Out, and we were the youngest crew, and we were legendary. We was all getting money, but again...
This video falls under fair use. Fair use covers commentary, criticism, and reaction, so listen up. What's up? Back with another one. You already know the vibe. Today, hold up, I'm showing you Dame Dash responding directly to Jim Jones. Go ahead and check this clip out.
That Jim Jones did, and he said that you're not a boss, you're a worker. What do you have to say about that?
You know, someone called me about that, and I laughed because it's ridiculous, but I felt like Jim must have been giving me an alley-oop to front on him, so I will.
Okay, you're invited, go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. When I was 15-year-old, and I would guess their perspective, because he was a young man, I was big time to him, because I was 15-year-old, and I was doing things that most 15-year-olds weren't doing. And the people that he's rapping about in a lot of his records, like Rich Porter and Lou Sims, these are people I actually used to hustle with. Now, at 15, I'm not gonna say I was a legend at hustling. I wasn't, I was 15. But the people that we were looking up to, by the time I got to their age, I had definitely made more money than them, and I was more impactful as it relates to culture, because it wasn't being known for selling drugs. I was never known for selling drugs. But what you won't do, you could ask Lou Sims if he ever sent me to the store, or ask anybody that you know that was in that world that ever sent me to the store. See, I never hustled with Jim, and I don't think he ever bought a car till it was with rap money. It was never a street thing. Okay. I knew him as Jomo, and it's not a bad thing. This was his name, and he was like an 8-year-old, like a younger kid running around with a clip-on tie, and he lived in 1199 at Dave's house, because I guess they're, whatever it was, he lived. So I never really knew him as, like growing up, he was always a little kid. Yeah. But Fredo, Cameron brought him around, and I was like, why are you with Jomo? And he was like, well, and he admitted this, well, he has a crib we go to, we just using him, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, all right, it's Jomo. But he's done what he's had to do. But, you know, he wasn't there to say that. But if he can say that, like Dookie, I used to hustle with Dookie. He was my lieutenant.
Not Dookie. Dookie. Oh, listen, I thought he was calling the man Dookie.
Yeah, you were wrong. Pause. Dookie is Duke the God we call him Dookie, Paul. Okay. And Duke the God is with the Dipset. I used to hustle with him. Okay. You could ask him if he ever seen someone send me to the store, but I was always known in the position as somewhat of a boss. And all I did was pass the plug to them. They were like, they always looked up to me at that time.
Bringing up decades-old labels at this point feels pointless, honestly. Dame stays calm and doesn't take the bait, and that alone speaks volumes. He makes it clear, listen to this, he was never some big-time drug dealer like people try to frame him, but he does acknowledge that he had a crew called The Best Out. He points out that they were the youngest crew around, and hold on, they were already legendary. And at the end of the day, he says they were all getting money.
I was never big time as a drug dealer, but I did have a crew called The Best Out, and we were the youngest crew, and we were legendary. We was all getting money, but again, I'm pretty impressed with who I am and who I was and the things I did, and the fact that the people rap about are the people that I actually hustle with and actually was able to go another direction. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for him, he knows the algorithm. Yeah. And you know, when you say Dame Dash, you go viral. And I was going to ask you if that, do you think that was a reason for it? So that he could, so that I could actually have a reason to talk about who I was and tell people to look under the hood. But if you know a 15, 16-year-old, and another thing is because I used to hang out uptown. So people from downtown, I'm from 1199, they weren't usually allowed to go uptown and hustle. And I was on one of the wildest blocks on the, at the time in Harlem. So I got to make it out of a real circumstance. I didn't wait to get the rap to start to get money. I didn't wait to get the rap to start being tough. None of those things. And you can look under the hood. So I appreciate him bringing it up.
So
and
was
to the extent that I've made my paid in full OG stories, it's about my friends. The people, like, again, y'all making records about Rich, but he really did hit us with work. I was there. If you wasn't there, it's hard to talk about it. To be obsessed and infatuated in such a way that you think to be a person is to go to jail, get kicked, and be famous for a very short run, that's not what I wanted to be known for. But you could find somebody that sent me to the store, I'd like to know.
What's up? So here are my thoughts on this. Dame Dash responded calmly and stayed focused on context, maturity, and time. He made it clear that these comments reach back decades to a moment when people were younger, moving differently, and still figuring life out. And listen, the bigger takeaway here is accountability with age. When someone is pushing 50, dragging teenage labels back into the conversation doesn't really add anything meaningful today. Dane framed it as growth versus nostalgia, not denial versus acceptance. He didn't escalate it, posture up, or make it personal. He stayed locked in on where life experience is supposed to place someone mentally and emotionally. Now, there's also a wider lesson here about legacy. Conversations about past roles often ignore how environments, access, and opportunity change over time. People evolve, partnerships shift, and history gets compressed into sound bites that can mess with perspective. Dame's response leaned into the idea that progress should be judged by what someone builds, sustains, and contributes right now, not recycled labels from youth. Make sure you drop a comment, smash that like button, and subscribe for more videos like this.